Today we're going to talk about emotional eating. Now, emotional eating is one of those things that we have all done. It is the most unifying form of eating, I think, pretty much in the world, because there is not a person in the world that actually, I think, has never done this. And when it becomes an extreme thing, it then becomes more like binge eating. So let's unpack why we emotionally eat, what it is, and what actually that you can do about it to make yourself feel better and to manage this process. My name is Geeta Sidhu-Robb and I run a health and wellness business called Nosh Detox based in London. And we are a trusted, credible, experienced source of information on how to take control of your own health. Our goals with these videos are to inform and educate you so you can make your own choices about what you want to do. Don't ever feel like you just don't know the next step. So, emotional eating. So, what does that mean? Why do we eat when we feel bad? Why do we turn to food instead of turning to other things? Because yes, there are places where people turn to alcohol and drugs and shouting even. But for many of us, actually, emotional eating is the go-to for managing the process of not feeling so good. So it comes from the place that negative emotions often lead to a feeling of emptiness or like an emotional void. And what happens is that we are used to food providing us comfort. From when we're very little, from babies, food has provided us with comfort. So we tend to associate food with the filling of that void. And the food makes us feel better, and it creates a feeling of fullness, a feeling of being satiated and complete. It doesn't matter that this feeling is actually false where it comes to this, but that's how we feel. And those are the associations in our brain. So let's talk about the difference between emotional hunger and true hunger, which is basically physical hunger. Physical hunger is something that develops over time. You think, oh, I wouldn't mind eating this. You start imagining different kinds of food that you want to eat. You start thinking, oh, and it's a positive feeling. And you don't have any negative emotions associated with eating. There isn't that sensation of if I don't eat, I will die. It takes 20 minutes for your stomach to speak to your brain and say, look, I'm really full. And that's also how long it takes for your hormones to go from the hunger hormone being slowly reduced and the fullness hormone taking over. And that sense of fullness is when you feel like, actually I've eaten enough, I can stop eating. In fact, oh my gosh, I'm completely stuffed, right? Emotional hunger has a very different pathway. Emotional hunger comes about really abruptly. And when you're emotionally hungry, you only crave certain foods. And when you're eating them, there is a sense of guilt or shame even about eating that you just don't get when you're normally hungry. And this is so acute that you could actually binge on some food and you still don't feel full at the end of it. So what is happening there is that you are actually filling up a void in the moment when you eat because of negative emotions, but by the end of it, you feel more upset than you do satiated. More upset than you do satiated. This is your first primary and constant clue that what you're doing is emotional eating, as opposed to being completely hungry. Emotional hunger doesn't really end until you address the emotional needs. So what I've done here is I've outlined the steps that lead you to feeling physically hungry, like a true hunger, and the steps that you have for emotional hunger, which isn't actually a true hunger, it's actually an issue. And so you can tell the difference. Now, what do you do when you know what you're doing is eating emotionally? The thing to do is, when you push down an emotion by putting food in, anything that you resist will persist. So what you need to do is, it's so simple. You just need to sit there and think, I feel bad. This made me feel awful. I feel shitty. I feel scared. I feel lonely. I feel unhappy. And can you feel that the release of that emotion just by naming it? All your feelings just need is for you to name them. Once you name the emotion, it releases its hold on you and you stop trying to have to push it down. You can write it, you can speak it, you can record it, you can do whatever you like with it as long as you identify the emotion. And once you've done that, actually, you just don't get as much emotional hunger as you did before you've done that. So, I hope this has been helpful. Please like if it has. Please leave me a comment on what this did for you and how it helped you. Please share with somebody who might need it, who you know emotionally eats. And also please subscribe.